Central Unplugged. This is episode 24. Last episode was our Michael Jordan episode. This is our Kobe episode. So, episode 24. I'm producer Sydney Corra, right next to longtime and very well-respected motorsports insider Kurt Hansen. Kurt, how are you?
Boy, after that intro, Sid, how can I be better? I told you your beautiful face and smile got me very, very perked up this morning. It's been a lot going on, and just back from a long trip, which was fantastic. What can I say? Life is good. Things just continue to roll, and we may have some more big news soon. I was talking with you about this earlier, which would be kind of fun. And just to revisit or reset, Sydney is my incredible producer at ESPN Radio. Every Friday, The Drive, 3 to 5 on ESPN Radio AM 1600. It's streaming around the country and around the globe, or however you want to do it. The world is flat, right? According to whatever that basketball player's name was. Kyrie Irving, I think, said the world's flat. Streaming around the country and around the world at racecentralmedia.com. And you can watch this here video cast with all the others on our YouTube page at YouTube at Race Central Unplugged. Sydney the Kidney in the house. We still got to figure out that cooking segment, but I've been doing a lot of cooking lately, which I'm a great eater. I'm a terrible cooker, but I may need your help moving forward. But what have you got for me today, Sydney?
Well, that's weird. You've been cooking more, and I've been eating out more, and because I just got back from Georgia, and woo, let me tell you. Oh, I went crazy down there. I went crazy. I had
my God.
So much good food down there. Seafood, boils, barbecue. Ooh, it was crazy.
But it was all vegan, or did you actually eat some real food?
No. Well, I eat fish. So
right. So you're cheating vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fish meat's okay.
Yeah. I had a ton of scallops, ton of oysters, crab. Oh man. Just hush puppies, crab cakes. Wow.
Yeah, sounds. Now you make me want to fly to San Diego right now and get some good. We've got a great fresh fish place up here, up north. But yeah, in San Diego, there's about 50 places within 10 square blocks that all serve amazing delicacies. We were supposed to head to San Diego this week, but with everything going on down there, we canceled the trip. Due to some other stuff that came up, but it actually may have worked out pretty well. I hear a lot of this stuff is kind of getting overplayed in the media. I mean, they show a Cathedral City, which is nobody lives in Cathedral City. Well, they do, but not, anyway. But they show all the flatlands flooding and stuff, and the mountains, of course. But a friend of mine lives down there, and he said basically they're getting a sprinkle of rain. But, you don't want to fly into the eye of a tropical storm or be in San Diego for 10 days, at the Lowe's Coronado with a suite and have to sit and watch it rain all the time. We did that once before. It wasn't a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, San Diego is a toss-up, but it is similar. Like, what you got to talk to a local, because a lot of times people will hear about the wildfires or the fires here in Colorado. And they'll be like, oh, is everything okay? Are you doing it? And it's just like, yeah, like the fires are in the mountains. We're good down here. Occasionally, of course, bad things happen. But
it's like, you live in Denver. Hey, do they have electricity yet?
Yeah.
We've got some. We're working on internet. And it is funny, though. When I moved from California 23 years ago, we had a monstrous IKEA next to my dealership in Berkeley. And when I moved here for 10 years, all I'm hearing about IKEA is coming. I'm like, so what?
Yeah,
I like In-N-Out Burger. I've been eating In-N-Out Burger for 35 years.
Wow,
I mean, really?
You're a privileged Californian.
Yeah, man. What the hell? What's an old guy going to do in a small town, right?
Yeah. Well, now In-N-Outs are just like everywhere here in Denver. There's like 10 different In-N-Outs. Oh,
yeah. Well, there you go.
Whatever.
Everybody in Denver's got the best burger. Just ask all 100,000 of them.
Yeah.
If you can't make a good cheeseburger, you should not be in the food providing industry.
Yeah. Well, speaking of cheeseburgers, I went to Gunther Tootie's. Me and Bradley went to Gunther Tootie's last night. It's like the 50s diner.
Yeah, I've been.
Oh my God, I love it in there. And on Wednesdays, they do buy one, get one free burgers, and the burgers are only $2.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
go to go.
last time I went to Gunther Tootie's, I got steak and eggs and bacon because I love bacon, and the bacon looked like cooked human flesh. You could see right through it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it was pretty gross.
well, their entrees are $7. So,
Yeah, but still, cooked human flesh is not on my dietary plan. So
well,
I'm going to get some.
I got fried Oreos last night.
Mm. Okay, Sid, you're making me want to eat now. Let's get this show on the road.
Okay,
Huh?
all right. Let's get away from food and into racing, and
There we
let's
go.
start with NASCAR at the Glen. Break it down.
Which is pretty incredible place. I raced there in the early '90s at Formula Atlantic, and we were there with IMSA with the GTP prototype cars. A very famous place. Up in the Finger Lakes region of New York. Beautiful, beautiful place. They've had Formula One there for decades. Tragically, the teammate to Jackie Stewart at the Elf team, Francois Silver, was killed there very grossly. I won't go into details. Many, many years ago, but if you Lake Saranac is there, and if you go to the Saranac Hotel, which is like 150 years old, big white building right on the side of the cliff looking over the lake. That's where all the Formula One teams would stay. And there's signatures from all the great Formula One drivers for decades on the wall. It's pretty nostalgic, and photographs and stuff. It's a beautifully historic lake and place. A little FYI, before they built Watkins Glen Raceway, they used to race through the streets of Watkins Glen, the city. So like a true street race. And this was back in the days the streets were dirt. So the racing history there is deep, 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 deep. And it's one of those places a lot of drivers put on their bucket list because of the history. It's much different than Indy 500 or Daytona 500 or things like that. But it has an iconic place in the world of the history of American motorsports in this country. And you feel it.
Yeah.
I remember going to a place called Bernie Murray's in downtown Watkins Glen when I was there, which is like an Italian Irish pub opened by a guy that moved there from Philadelphia decades ago. Place has got to be, it's been around for probably 70, 80 years, but it's kind of a famous hangout too.
For the
when you're there
racers?
at the Glen. Yeah, it's kind of like if you go to the Indy 500, don't go to St. Elmo's, you really didn't go to Indy. Well, Bernie Murray's is kind of the same drill, but
Yeah, I was just
look,
looking at pictures. It looks really cool.
well, before they paved that huge infield area, they used to be what they call the bog, and it was a big swamp. Not kidding you. And Watkins Glen was known for all the leftover hippies from Woodstock back in the day. They'd go to long before NASCAR. They go to the Formula One race there, or sports car races. And one year they stole a big Greyhound double-decker bus. It's all over YouTube or the video. And they stole it and drove it into the bog, and it sank up to a third of the way up on the bus. They set it on fire. So that's kind of the shenanigans and history of the bog, which is pretty interesting stuff. You go find it on YouTube. I might post it on my page, Facebook/Kurt Hansen in a little bit. That might be kind of fun. But yeah, an interesting weekend. The Glen is always amazing. It's surprising. Usually the road course ringers do really well there. Marcus Ambrose from Aussie V8 Supercars, a la Shane Van Gisbergen now coming to NASCAR. But AJ Allmendinger, Marcus Ambrose and AJ Allmendinger at the Glen and at Sonoma for a couple of years when Marcos was in the series. They were always fighting for 1-2 because that's a place a lot of teams bring, a guy like Ron Fellows or a super road course ringer to do well at the Glen. Well, I didn't know Michael McDowell was a road course ringer, but I mean, he had the thing, I don't want to say comfortably, but I mean, at the midway point of the race, things were going really, really, really well for him. And he got a pit lane speeding penalty, had to go to the back of the pack. And I believe he drove it up pretty far through the pack, but ended up finishing ways back. Just ran out of time, not enough laps. But
Yeah.
Kudos to Michael McDowell. And it's lately, as I've had this theme, how do I talk about Walking Slow without talking about William Byron? This guy, he's a fun kid. I interviewed him last year at Phoenix
Byron?
at the season. Yeah, William Byron at the season finale. He's a snowboarder. He loves Colorado. How
That's
ironic! Yeah, how ironic
didn't he injure himself?
That was homeboy. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott. And that, ironically, Sid, that's probably going to cost him the championship, because he has to go to Daytona next week, and I mean, damn near win it to transfer into the playoffs. Kevin Harvick transferred from the Glen, which is good. I believe Brad Keselowski transferred, which is okay. I'm not a Keslow guy, but I've said this season's kind of been all over the map. It's just been a hodgepodge. But the one consistent that we have seen this year is William Byron. It's 5 wins this year. That's incredible. He's now in the playoffs, and I guess if there's a favorite, I mean, he's leading the points now. Martin Truex Jr. is second. Martin is fighting hard. He re-signed for next year, so that's got to be good for his psyche.
Yeah.
But I mean, going into the playoffs that I unless it, and I don't remember who said it. It might have been actually Chase Elliott himself, going to Daytona and expecting and having to win and pull it off is kind of like going to the casino and playing one slot machine one time, and you have to hit $1 million.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but it's going to get interesting. It's go time, and William Byron at this point might be my favorite, even though the smaller teams have really shown very well lately. Chris Buescher, 2 wins in the last 3 races. He finished 7th at the Glen. So, it's about time, though, that just by the system itself, we'll start eliminating people. I'm not sure if Chase Elliott's going to make it, but William Byron looks strong as steel.
Yeah. Well, that's sick. I mean, it's been an interesting season so far, to say the least.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, and it'll get even.
It's definitely been one of the odder ones, and it's amazing. Sid, you and I were at Unser Karting back in February.
Yep.
Doing our Daytona show.
Yeah.
And here we are. We're end of August, September, October. We're 3 months before packing this. They're already running commercials for Daytona 2024. I don't know where time has gone, but you look better every day and I look worse. So I guess that's just the way it's going to roll.
That's how we can tell. That's how we tell time.
Yeah, I have a sundial and Sydney's face. Could be worse.
Anyways, we'll wrap it up for NASCAR and move on to IndyCar. Romain Grosjean might be out.
Yeah, so here's the deal about Romain. And Romain became a worldwide figure and worldwide popular figure from the Netflix series where he crashed and climbed out of the fire. I believe they named that episode on Netflix. Man out of fire, man stepping out of fire. Bless you. Man on fire. I don't remember, but it made him a worldwide favorite. And he came to IndyCar. And it took a while for him to kind of go through his growing pains, but started running very well. But the same things that caused him problems in Formula One: too many crashes, too many destroyed cars, inconsistent. That is, I hate to say it, if there's only one thing I can say about Romain, and I like the guy and I support him and root for him, but the most consistent thing has been his inconsistency in making mistakes when in the lead. I can think of 3 times this year, most recently Detroit, running very, very well, fighting for the lead, clips an inside barrier on the road course, wads it up. And there's been at least 3 of those this year. And I think it's growing tiresome on Michael Andretti and his pocketbook. The big story has been Where's Marcus Ericsson going to go? Your Indy 500 winner 2 years ago, and probably should have won Indy this year.
Yeah.
So Ericsson's confirmed at Andretti, so he'll be out at Chip Ganassi, and there's no more chairs there at the merry-go-round. The odd man out is probably going to be Romain Grosjean, which is sad. He'll land somewhere, but not with the caliber of team that he's at now. And the sad thing is, there's so many young drivers now coming to IndyCar with big check writing possibilities, or they are buying a ride. Unless Romain brings a bunch of dough, he just could be odd man out because unless it's not like Marcus Ericsson where he's got Husky's chocolate and the president and founder is a very close friend, and they give him boatloads of cash to go run an IndyCar as they did in Formula One. I don't know if Grosjean's got a backer, but maybe Grey Poupon or some French company can step up and save his career, because I don't know what's going to happen, and I feel bad, but. Also, latest news, Alex Palou, who allegedly signed for McLaren and for Ganassi last year, got sued by Chip Ganassi. They basically pigeonholed him and forced him into honoring his contract. I know the story. It's not a pretty sight. And so he's been McLaren's test driver and backup driver. And now he's saying he's not going to honor his McLaren contract. And Zach Brown is pissed as shit. And now there'll be another lawsuit. So here we go all over again. What's the old story is all new again. And your points leader right now, Alex Palou, who basically a couple of races ago kind of looked like Max Verstappen in Formula One. He was just kind of sailing along, and then he had two terrible results in Iowa. And Joseph Newgarden's, basically took a huge chunk out of his lead. IndyCar wraps up in a couple of months at Laguna Seca. It's game on. And one thing I like about IndyCar this year, it has been aggressive. Just aggressive street fighting, infighting. It kind of feels more like Formula One. I like it. It's what the series needs. It makes everybody, competition makes the breed better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's say a prayer for our homeboy Romain.
Yeah. I think he might have used up all those in his crash in Formula One.
Yeah. He's been around for a while though, right?
Yeah, he's been in Formula One for a long time, and I believe but he had the dubious distinction of never winning a Formula One race in like hundreds of starts, which is pretty ironic. I believe his teammate he's back in Formula One now with Haas, and is actually doing quite well, but his name escapes me for the moment. It's not Nico Hulkenberg. It's I'm having a senior moment. Anyway, that guy.
Drivers. Let's see. Kevin
Magnussen.
Yeah, is that it, or Nico Hulkenberg?
Yep. No, it's that's why I got confused. It's Kevin Magnussen, and the first race back with Haas, Magnussen did a phenomenal job. I think he might even put the car put it on the pole or qualify the top three, and had a really good result. But yeah, it's Kevin Magnussen.
All right. Well, it's a good wrap up or good update on IndyCar, but the update that I think we've all been waiting for, or certainly that we teased in the last show, was your trip for World of Outlaws in the Knoxville Nationals. So what went down there? Or am I mistaken?
A lot of that, because it was pretty dusty. Hey, the 62nd Knoxville Nationals. I don't know, something like that. Unbelievable. It if you don't even have to like racing, or especially dirt track racing,
Yeah.
to get caught up in the vibe of the Knoxville Nationals. It's just, I mean, it's 2 weeks, the 360 Nationals, and then the Outlaw Nationals. It's a sight to see. It truly is like the Daytona 500 for sprint car racing. They had over
Yeah.
120 entries this year, a lot of surprises. It's just overwhelming. I mean, the people, the bar Dingus across the street is a 24/7, basically people show, freak show, riot with music. The funky little pizza place next door takes
Mhm.
3 hours, 2 hours to order pizza and an hour to get it, and people stand in line for it. That's okay. I go up to
Holy
Rib
cow.
Shack. Yeah, I go up to Rib Shack, get some of the best barbecue you can ever have. And Rib Shack does it.
Woo!
They've got it down. It's a little place. It's been there a million years, but they've got. I just go to Rib Shack or the Pizza Hut right behind them because I don't need all that
You can't go
bullshit.
wrong with
You can't go wrong with Rib Shack either. But Pizza Hut, we went there because it was so hot this year, very hot,
Mhm.
equally as hot as last year. Not quite as humid, but oh my god! And my good friend Art Prott from Peerless Tires. Last year I was there working inside a media credential. This year I just went to have fun, and we had the best seats you could ever imagine. We're just high enough we could see all the way around the track perfectly, and just low enough where we could see great, but high enough where we didn't get hit by tons of dirt and dust. Albeit it did get a little, as we call it, dry slick couple nights. But it was a Kyle Larson show. But once again, here is the Rico Abreu, who's been a fan favorite for a long, long time. But the Rico crowd was definitely in full force this year at Knoxville. He ran
Mhm.
very well all week, and should have won. I believe it was either the Wednesday or Thursday night heat. But last year he had to race his way in a last chance qualifier on Friday. This year, not so much. But I got to tell you, and Brad Sweet was not good all week. Your points leader just seemed to struggle. Wrecked the car pretty good, I want to say, on Thursday. But just kind of off his game. And he wasn't real strong last year either. Donnie Schatz, if memory serves correct, got a good solid top five. David Gravel was in it all night to win it, but Kyle Larson basically boat raced it. Rico Abreu was in the top five most of the night and then got a right rear flap, and that kind of killed him, which was surprising. But I mean, it was a Kyle Larson show. I mean, if you're going to Vegas, you got to bet fives because, well, that's not his number. Actually, no, his number is I don't remember his number. I don't care. I'm not paid to remember numbers. But he dominated. It was just basically, it was the Kyle Larson show. Actually, kind of boring for the main on Saturday night because,
Yeah. 3. I
just
think it's like 3. Or wait, no, 5. Yeah, I think it's 5.
Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
Well, five's his NASCAR number. I don't think that's his sprint car number.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I think it's like, I don't know. The cars go by so fast. I go by paint scheme on the
57.
car. Thank you. I knew there was a 5 in there. But Rico ran strong. That Curvagajanian machine, very strong. And then to back up what he did in Knoxville, he goes out and wins the high limit race a week ago. So the Rico Abreu train is definitely chugging along really, really well. And this could be Rico's best year of the World Outlaws. We'll have to see.
Yeah. Gosh, those sprint cars just look like little transformers out there.
Oh, yeah.
They look fun to ride. Have you ever driven
Yes.
a race in a sprint car?
And they're not little. They're big, huge, nasty, angry, grumpy, and they'll hurt you real fast.
Yeah. They look kind of dangerous.
Probably at this point, maybe one of the most dangerous forms of motorsport.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think the most dangerous type of racing is?
Well, they're all super dangerous, but when you look at how technology's played into NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, even the sports cars, I mean, it's all very dangerous. I mean, If you're risk adverse, you don't play in this game. But midgets and sprint cars at this point, and drag boats, I definitely have to put as the you got some big balls to drive those things fast. Yeah, pardon the visual, but you got some serious cojones.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we have about 5 minutes left here, so why don't we wrap things up with F1, which it looks like the season's basically a wrap. We already know who's at the top. Yeah. What can you say about that?
Here's my F1 wrap up.
Yeah. I think that's why a lot of people don't like watching F1 is because it's just one guy that just dominates.
Well, it's all about having the package, and good friend of mine calls Formula One cocktail napkin racing, because the only time somebody gets past is if a cocktail napkin blows across the track from those very bougie luxury suites, and that somebody has to step on the brakes. Not quite that bad, but I mean, Red Bull has definitely found the package. Christian Horner, the president of Red Bull Racing, said the other day that the Mercedes dominance period was like, a dark hole in his life. Well, now they're enjoying the dominance of their car. It'll be different next year. The Honda engine, what they call the RB10, will be gone. So we'll have to see how that plays out, because the motor package is very, very important. Much to my pleasure, the Lewis Hamilton show seems to be over. That's fine with me. Now, Sergio Perez, who is Max's teammate at Red Bull, has 2 wins this year. It's going to be it's not even between Sergio and Max, because, I'm not very good at math. That's why I do this for a living. But 10 wins compared to 2 wins seems to me, and Max is going to win more races. I mean, I believe at Zandvoort this weekend for the Dutch Grand Prix. No reason to figure anybody's going to win but Max Verstappen. But I will say this also, to go back to NASCAR. So, because it seems like Netflix rules the world in regards to how popular your motorsport is, given, the pandemic helped Formula One, but the IndyCar series, 100 Days of Indy, definitely was good. It was really good. But now NASCAR is going to have a Netflix series, and I just hope it doesn't look like Talladega Nights.
Oh, really?
Ricky Bobby
vibes?
Ricky Bobby vibe. I doubt it.
Well, good for NASCAR. I mean, that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah. I think the season's been very exciting. I think all the series this year, I mean, it's the playoffs will tell who the NASCAR champion is, obviously. World of Outlaws, Brad Sweet could be on his way to his 5th in a row, which is, we haven't seen dominance like this since the Steve Kinzer days. Carson Macedo is right there. But I don't think it's going to happen. Max Verstappen is going to win. Hello, Denver allergies. He's going to win the Formula One championship going away. Right now, he's just driving around for fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll talk more about that when it happens. Kurt, I think we hit all the major. Boom, boom, boom! NASCAR.
We hit our marks. You're a good crew chief. You hit our marks.
Well, what do we have? What do you have to look forward to? What's coming up this weekend?
Ooh, tune in Friday to find out some special. A very famous celebrity from Gas Monkey Garage or Fast and Loud, whatever you prefer, will be on the show, and a few other surprises too. Friday, 3 to 5 is the drive. 3 to 5 Mountain. ESPN AM 1600, streaming around the country and around the globe at racecentralmedia.com. And sorry, taking a few weeks off, a lot going on, but we'll be back with you next week in all shapes or forms and however you consume us. Enjoy it and tweet with us at Twitter at Race Central, and watch the podcast on YouTube. Race Central Unplugged.
Podcast is on YouTube, but of course you can find the link through Twitter, Facebook, all the socials. And if you're watching it and if you made it this far, like the video, like it, comment, share it. Whatever, any kind of interaction helps us a lot. So if you stuck around, thank you. And we will see you back here next week for episode 25. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. See you, Kurt.
See you, kid. See you Friday.